Hey, welcome to your weekend mini nerve. So happy to be sitting with you. We are back with 3 more celebrities who are behaving comically, poorly, with a complete and utter lack of self-awareness and a lot of real confidence that what they've got to say is what we need to hear. So we're going to get into it. I am loving having this time on the weekend to devote to this stuff because it really needs its own place to live. Okay, first, Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama, who cannot stop talking. Like she would never come on a podcast like this. I mean, it's not her scene. It's not her scene. But there's otherwise really no podcast that she won't go on to talk about how awesome she is and how, but she's also miserable. Like she's awesome, but she's miserable. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? But on Thursday morning, I opened my Instagram and, I will say one of the first people I shot a text to was Megan Kelly. And I was like, life is good. Okay. She's got a book coming out in the fall. And this isn't just any book. Like this isn't just any self-help garbage that, everybody's slinging around town these days. This is a book that is a monument, a tribute to the beauty, class, elegance, and grace that is one Michelle Obama. And it's called The Look, Michelle Obama. You guys. So what we're seeing now is the cover of said book, which I think is out in November. So she's aiming it at a Christmas gift audience. I will not put money in her pocket, but it would be a great gag gift for the right person in your life. Okay, here's her self-description in frankly, a far too lengthy Instagram post, but we're going to get through it together. We won't read everything, but okay, this is how she begins. During our family's time in the White House, the way I looked was constantly being dissected. What I wore, how my hair was styled. For a while now, I've been wanting to reclaim more of that story. We're reclaiming now. She should go over on Monica Lewinsky's podcast, which is called Reclaiming, because while, Michelle is like beating her stories of misery and greatness into the ground, Monica Lewinsky is busy rehashing what happened to her 30 years ago. So, two people who are really stuck emotionally and psychologically, they have a lot in common. They should get together. So it's picking up from Michelle's little sales pitch here. So she's been wanting to reclaim that story, to share it in my own way, that inimitable way that she's got, that winning, charming, engaging way that she's got. Now she goes on to say, I'm thankful. Is she really? She's thankful. Okay. Recent commentary points otherwise, but I'm thankful to be at a stage in life where I feel comfortable expressing myself freely, wearing what I love and doing what feels true to me. And I'm excited to share some of what I've learned along the way. My new book, The Look, comes out on November 4th. It's a reflection on my lifelong journey. Everything's a journey. Everything's a journey. With fashion, hair, and beauty. Inside, you'll find some of the outfits that have meant the most to me. But most importantly, the moments that I lived through in them. Big and small, personal and political, historic and ordinary, that were as memorable as the clothes themselves. You'll also get to know the incredible team, blah, blah, blah. These are nobodies. They're not famous. We're not going to mention them. And their perspective to this journey. Okay, The Look is about more than fashion, right? Because she's Michelle Obama. And we have to be reminded that she's really smart. Like the way smart people, again, they don't tell you they're smart. They just talk. They just talk. But no, she's got to remind us she's smart. It's a coffee table book. Okay, those are visual books. It's not Lacan here. Okay, it's about confidence. It's about identity. It's about the power of authenticity. My hope is that this book sparks conversation and reflection about the ways we see ourselves and the ways our society defines beauty. So I have some questions. I think we all have some questions. Number 1, will there be instructions on how to ball our hair up into pom-poms that stay affixed, no matter the color, the texture, whether your hair is fine or, you've got a little bit more volume. Sorry, in my excitement, I hit the microphone. Will we get instructions on how to ball our hair into pom-poms so we can all telegraph that we're having some sort of what looks to me to be like a huge midlife crisis, psychotic episode. I'm not saying she's crazy or psycho. I'm just saying it looks that way. Or like the really the creme de la creme is the three balls on the back of her head. Like will we get those that hair help from her stylist, or will we learn how to bitch and moan with, Michelle Obama's inimitable elan? Will we learn how to drag one's husband's name through the mud, his reputation, his character, his abilities as a husband and parent, all of it, can we do that while still looking and feeling fabulous? I mean, seriously, like, this is a woman whose grown daughters constantly look like they rolled out of bed, picked up clothes that have been living on the floor for months. And like they look like they haven't seen the inside of like a spa, like it's just a day spa. We're not talking like, let's go to, the Four Seasons and White Lotus style and pamper ourselves. Just go get a grooming, But but she's going to give us advice on how to look and be fabulous in this world. And, I think now, if I'm fair to her, it might be a bit of a heavy lift because, she is busy comporting herself this way as Barack Obama's name was mentioned in the Diddy trial, I mean, not for nothing, but Diddy was traveling around with ecstasy pills that were in the shape of, per testimony, Barack Obama's head. And I wonder, like, how do they know it's like, is his face imprinted on these like ecstasy pills, or like, do the pills just have like two like really big like ears? I mean, I will say, I don't think he's ever gotten them pinned back, but how do we know? How do we know it's Barack Obama? Anyway, so we've got a lot to look forward to. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about this book in the coming weeks and months until she's inevitably doing the circuit, which we'll take it apart. Okay. Now, this celebrity, I don't know how she wound up in my feed on Instagram, but I think she's friends with a former friend of mine, and it would track. That would track. So Martha Plimpton, she was like a hot teen actress for a minute back when she was dating River Phoenix, the late great River Phoenix, and then since then she's just become, I don't know what's going on with her. She's like, she gets employed sometimes, but the rest of her time, and I think that she lives out near where I live, out on Long Island. But I'm doing it for you guys. I don't care if I run into this person. I don't care. I'll stand by it. So Martha Plimpton's Instagram page, this is amazing. First of all, you got to go to her bio. I'm going to go to her bio right now. Okay, so Martha Plimpton. Okay, so Martha Plimpton's whole thing is like, she's just a cool, easy breezy, hipster, middle-aged actress. I think she's single. I don't think she has kids. And she gets on Instagram a lot, and she's never really wearing makeup, and her hair is always like kind of just like not combed. But her whole thing is like, she's down to earth, she's cool, she's an ultra progressive liberal. She's just like her people, except her Instagram has her photo ID is a mock-up of the Statue of Liberty with her face in her hands like this. Like, just check it out. Just check it out. Okay. Now, she uses pronouns on her Instagram. It's she, not she, hers, just she. Okay. Oh no, she does say she, her later. Okay. So as for her location, Brooklyn/London/LA/Rose. Okay. So that is her bragging about her potentially having real estate in all three locales, which is it's disgusting. Just be like Matthew McConaughey. Say you're a citizen of planet Earth. I could get with that. Okay, but this is the best part. This is the best part. and it's the worst, by which I mean the worst. She writes and she uses the emoji for heart. I heart abortion. I heart abortion. You know, I don't care. I think the most pro-choice, I would like to think that the most pro-choice among us, and I understand it's a very nuanced issue. It really is. Would say that they find abortion a tragedy, you know, and like Barack Obama, his line was always safe, legal, and rare. You know, that's really the way to come at it. You know, that it's only really in extreme circumstances, but you heart abortion. You know, you are a dark, 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 fucked up person. Okay, you really are. Now, Trump, of course, has completely destabilized this woman, okay? You know, and so like every post she puts up, and it's always like with these other B-list actors from her heyday, and like they're in plays together, or she's going to see them in some off-Broadway play. But she's like that relative you have that's like completely like all they talk about is Donald Trump. It's a Donald Trump is the locus upon which they fix all of their anxieties, their existential dread about like death, you know, disease, despair, you know, their own lives maybe not turning out the way they wanted, their careers maybe not turning out the way they wanted. So it all goes on Trump. And she posted this. She writes she's with her, it looks like it's that guy who was on The Good Wife, Josh. I'm blanking on his last name. Um, so anyway, she writes, okay, a moment's respite from our daily horror show lives. Our daily horror show, right? Like you can't do anything without referencing. Look who I got to see. Now she's name dropping. Took my hashtag goddaughter. We both, okay, whatever, Martha Plimpton. Okay. So next, she she posts this video. I, I'm not sure when she took it, but it doesn't really matter. She's clearly in a house somewhere. That is not a New York City apartment. I'm sure of it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So she posts this video, and she's asking why the media isn't covering something, and I can tell you why, and the rest of us can. But as she's talking, you guys, I want you to look behind her shoulder. So it's on our right. Look at what is on her mantle. If I shit you not, she's got a Buddha. And here at the Nerve, we troublemakers have a well-established rule about you see someone who has a Buddha, you run, okay? Let's take a look at this.
Hi, how are you? I'm freaking out. Are you as well? Well, let's talk about it. I was on a Zoom earlier with Indivisible. They're a great organization. You should sign up for their Zooms and learn about them and see what they can help you do about this coup that by the way, the United States is experiencing a coup right now, and not a single news organization, not a single channel, not even PBS is covering it because it's the weekend. So that's how we got here. No, not a single network is breaking in with a special report. Remember when they used to do special reports where they would break in, they go, ding, 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 ding. This is ABC News with a special report from Ted Koppel or whoever. Remember when they used to do that? They don't do that anymore. They need to do that. You know why? Not even the New York Times is covering this.
Okay. That is fucking hilarious, because the very simple answer, Martha Plimpton, I'm going to tell you, is because there is not a coup taking place. Okay. It's not like she's saying that they never break in to the news with breaking. Yeah, they do. They do it all the time. They do it for natural disasters. They do it when there's a consequential verdict that's coming in. They do it when Trump got shot. Yeah, they do it. Okay. They do it. And she's like, not even the New York Times is covering this. I mean, they're not covering it because it's not happening. We had an election. It is uncontested. Even top level Democrats have said he won. He won, and we're going to work with him. Your hero, I'm sure, Barack Obama, I don't know, maybe he's not your hero anymore, sat with Trump and laughed with him at Jimmy Carter's funeral, you know? So, and they all, except for Michelle, every other president went to his inauguration. It's not a coup. You illiterate, she's probably not illiterate, but you sound it, and you sound like the person that everybody sees when they walk into a room. It's a party, it's a family dinner, and they're like, oh shit, she's here. She's here. Yeah, I know. She talks about that one thing. She talks about, all right, who's going to take the hit? Who's going to take the hit? Who's going to take the hit? Okay, now I have to go back in with this because it's so funny, and she thinks she's doing something very brave and very smart, and she just sounds like an unhinged, unmedicated, crazy person. Watch this.
What the fuck is going on? And why isn't anyone in the Democratic Party fighting this? Why is Chuck Schumer making deals with the Republicans for Trump's nominees to fast track or to get through nominee? Why is he making why is this business as usual? It's not. Don't let anyone tell you it is. I'm pissed. I'm freaking out. I'm also trying to keep my sense of humor.
You can tell. You can tell. She's, again, I think she seems like a really fun person. You know who else is in Martha's Instagram feed? It's our third. It's our third. I saw this and I thought, yep, that's the one. It's Greta Thunberg. Okay. The tiny little climate activist turned general agitator. And if she's on one side of an issue, you just know, just be on the other side. Just be on the other side. Okay. So you'll never guess what Greta is up to right now as we speak. Greta, who is now 22, and it's hard to believe she's 22 because she looks like she's still 13. So it's the whole thing is very disconcerting. Like the whole presentation is like it throws you off. You think you're looking at a minor child, you know, but she's 22. I think she's stunted in a lot of ways, okay? Greta is on a boat, and I mean a literal boat. You know the phrase slow boat to China? She's on a slow boat to, I could not make this up, Gaza. Greta Thunberg is on her way to Gaza. First of all, how jealous is Martha Plimpton that she didn't think of this first, okay? Now, again, let's take a look at Greta's bio on Instagram. She identifies as, and I quote, autistic and bipolar climate justice activist. Autistic and bipolar. Okay, just who we want, right? Just who you want. I mean, in far, far, far left progressive circles, those things are badges of honor. Those things are proof of how virtuous one is. So you cannot criticize her. You can't, because to do so, to say like, should we have someone who is bipolar and has always seemed on the spectrum. She from the minute she emerged. I mean, I always thought what it looked like to me. I thought her parents should never have allowed her to be going out on social media, on the world stage, and giving these speeches and being in front of the media. It seemed to me, it seemed like a kind of child abuse. It seemed like that kid was really on the spectrum and was really struggling. And it would have been kinder to just take her quietly to a doctor's office, you know, some help, some medicate, whatever. But now Greta Thunberg is in our lives, you know? So, listen, we are where we are, okay? So, I'm going to just say it though. Is there an activist more unintentionally hilarious than Greta Thunberg? Exhibit A.
I'm participating in this Code Rouge action today because the changes we need will not come from us asking nicely. We are currently blocking Cargill, one of the largest agribusiness companies whose unethical practices are based on exploiting both the planet, farmers and consumers. Join the movement and demand an agriculture and a food system that feeds people and not profit.
She's wearing a keffiyeh. And I don't even know that she really, really understands what that represents. I maintain, and I have, when I started seeing this happening on college campuses and at college graduations in the aftermath of October 7th, I maintain if your kid is wearing a keffiyeh, you failed. You failed. You failed. And I don't even think that she knows the details of what she's talking about here. Like, I don't even think she know. I think these words are strung together. They sound good. They sound virtuous. They sound all of that. She has no idea about the granular details of how global agriculture works. Okay. But, Greta's going to preach to us from her voyage to Gaza. Hamas is going to lose their shit when she shows up. They're going to lose their shit. Okay. Here is Greta on Palestine.
What have been the consequences of your activism, particularly your activism on Palestine? Has it closed any doors? Have any spaces been made unavailable to you as a consequence?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the climate crisis, the reason why I am a climate justice activist is not just because I want to protect trees and frogs. It's an ecosystem. Of course, that's really, really important. But what it boils down to, at least for me, is that because I care about humans and their well-being. And no matter what the cause of human suffering is, whether it is climate crisis, whether it is war, oppression, genocide, I will fight against those causes.
I mean, I guess as long as it's not the Jews, I guess as long as it's not the Jews, I'm guessing that she thinks that the terror attacks of October 7th were justified somehow. So now Greta, who really, she's asking for this. I'm sorry. She's in our lives. She's up pontificating about things, people, geopolitics, and frankly, morality. And she's failing. She's failing. Okay, so here she goes. Again, this is all displayed on her Instagram page. Like, she's so freaking proud of it. You guys, she goes to freaking Berlin. And for those of you who have been, and I've been, and it is an incredible city, but the war and the Holocaust, it is a living, breathing thing. It is still very much with us, especially in Berlin. She goes to Berlin and she doesn't understand why she's getting in trouble demonstrating for Hamas, demonstrating in a pro-Palestinian, whatever the night before. Watch this.
On Tuesday, I was invited by the Student Encampment for Palestine in Dortmund to attend a panel event at the camp. Quickly after they posted a picture announcing this, the police came and told them that they had to pack up the camp and leave, and that I would get arrested if I went there. All this because they had invited me to speak, and I had been to a pro-Palestine demo in Berlin the night before.
I love how she says it was all because of her. Now that's the key there. That's the narcissism. The cops in Berlin broke up an anti-Semitic demonstration, and Greta's sitting there wrapped in her fashionable keffiyeh saying it was all because of me. It was all because of me. Honey, I can guarantee you it was not. Okay. They're like, what is this small child doing here? Where are her parents? Take her home. Finally. Here's Greta doing her best Kate Winslet on the bow of the Titanic. Okay. Again, on her boat ride to Gaza. Take a look at this. Okay. She writes in part, "This mission is only part of a global movement for social and climate justice, liberation, and decolonization led by marginalized people." Okay, if you look at what she's wearing in that post, she's wearing shorts and a V-neck short sleeve t-shirt, which, honey, take that to Hamas, okay? Wait till you see how they react to you. They don't take kindly to women, period, let alone white women from Western Europe who are showing skin, okay? And you look like a child, and girls don't get off easy in that culture either, okay? It's not going to end well for you. It's really not. And if you get taken hostage, I don't understand how this stuff has no actual critical pushback in the culture aside from like what we're doing over here. Like this girl needs professional help. She needs professional help. And you know what else she needs? She needs a visit, frankly, to a concentration camp and a Holocaust museum. And then she needs to watch the footage that the IDF put together of what really went down on October 7th. Because, yes, that was an attack against Jews and that was an attack against Israel. But that was also an attack against the West. These people want the West extinguished and exterminated. Okay, so have fun in Gaza. Have fun on your field trip. Can't wait to see what you post from there. Can't wait. Okay. That does it for this edition of The Mini Nerve. Thank you for joining and troublemaking with me here today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you back here on Tuesday at The Nerve, where you will never guess what we're about to say next.